Hello my fellow indie devs. Today I want to talk about a topic that shows the unfairness of the indie dev scene, especially when it comes to marketing. When you release a game, your expectation is that the sale figures are going to look like this based on the quality of the game that you have produced. And this is of course a reasonable expectation to have, but on Steam, and perhaps on smartphones too, this is not how it looks like. The reality looks more like this. And this, in my opinion, is a huge problem. Human beings thrive on an incremental reward system. And this is true when it comes to the pursuit of everything and not just game development. If the incremental reward system fails, the individual is going to lose interest or starve to death. And in my case, it would be the latter because I'm doing game dev as a full-time career. The whole point of being a solo dev is to learn on the job, so you have to go through this process and spend a very large amount of time to get to the point of mediocrity. Afterwards, you can finally self-graduate and start making good games. But most indie devs don't make it far enough to make good games. And this comment right here is the most infuriating thing to ever hear as an indie dev, even though this person probably meant it as a joke. Who knows, maybe the next game this guy would have made would have sold over 100,000 copies. But we will never find out because he died. Now I'm going to explain why game marketing works like this. There is a simple explanation. There are three major avenues of marketing. First are the game events, such as OTK Game Fest, Guerrilla Collective, and others. These events receive hundreds, if not thousands of submissions, and they have to pick somewhere around 50 games to showcase. So obviously they are going to only select titles from these two tiers of games. The second avenue are the YouTubers and streamers who also receive hundreds or thousands of review copies per year, so they are also going to be super picky. And then there is the third avenue, which is self-promotion, which is something you do on your own social media or Facebook groups and subreddits. Games that fall into the mediocre or below get somewhere between 10 to 50 likes or upvotes per post, and 1 to 5 wishlists per post. Games that fall into good or above get hundreds of thousands of likes or upvotes and dozens to hundreds of wishlists per post. The issue is pretty simple. The players or customers believe that a game worth commercializing should start from here, but we indie devs disagree on that and believe that it should start from here. Here's the real truth. On consoles, it does start from here. The number of games being released on consoles is relatively low compared to Steam and smartphones. And for this reason, reliance on store page discoverability is often enough to make a living from your game, even if it's from these two tiers. But of course, consoles feel inaccessible to most indie devs, and for that reason most indies have to deal with this graph. And the journey of getting from here to here is so lengthy and daunting that most devs just give up. When it comes to these three methods, there are of course smaller scale versions of them, but smaller scale usually scales down in similar fashion. For example, a YouTuber that gets a few thousand views is not going to bring you that many wishlists. I know this because my own channel gets a few thousand views, and it doesn't bring me the expected wishlist numbers that I thought it would. My expectation was that I would get somewhere around 10 wishlists per 1,000 views, but it's more like 3. I feel like this is a great time for me to ask you to wishlist my game, but I'm going to do it at the end of the video instead. Same thing happens with game events. Finding extremely small game events that will accept you is difficult because they themselves don't know where to be found. And when you join these smaller events, you get around 10 to 50 wishlists from the entire event. And since each event happens once per year, even if you find 5 of them, 5 very small events, it's not going to help you that much. The expected wishlist you need in order to succeed is in the thousands, and all this effort of posting on social media, finding small YouTubers, and participating in smaller events will bring you a couple hundred at best. Another issue is that without feedback, developers will have a hard time improving their work. One of the side effects of commercial success is the massive wave of interaction that comes with it. The Steam reviews, comments, and suggestions on forums, and even reviews from traditional media, regardless of being positive or negative, help developers make better games. If you don't get commercial success, you won't know what you did wrong. You can ask people on places like Destroy My Game, but it doesn't feel like it's enough. And there is a genuine difference between a person who pays money and criticizes your game and one who doesn't. I want to end this video by giving you the most positive message I can. For me, game development is a true passion, to the point that if I stop pursuing it, I would feel completely empty inside. Life for me would be meaningless if it wasn't for me making games. This is the main reason why I have the ability to push through the endless hurdles of my career. And if you feel the same, then this should not be a problem for you. The only downside is that maybe economically you will not be able to sustain yourself until you reach this point. But if you can manage that, and at the same time you can progress your game dev skills and marketing skills, then in the end it will be worth it. Thank you for watching this video, and if you want to support me, then please consider wishlisting my game. And good luck with your own projects.